Last year, audiences everywhere thrilled to a terrifying film about the horrors of home ownership. House. Now, there's an all-new House.
It's like you got some kind of alternate universe in there or something.
Don't forget the beer.
Welcome to The Good, the Bad, and the Sequel. This movie podcast where we're talking sequels, and we do it in two parts. The first, an interview with an actor, someone involved that made the film worth watching, and the second, a discussion of the sequel, what they got right, what they got wrong, and how it could have been better. Hope you enjoyed last week's interview with set decorator, he's done art directing as well for films like Biodome, Don Deers. Don was so much fun, and if you haven't listened to that interview yet, definitely make sure you check it out after this. Don's career goes from doing these small horror movies. He's doing his own art on the side because his mom was a painter. He accidentally leaves his art behind while working as a PA on Nightmare on Elm Street. Somebody sees it, says, Don, you need to be in the art department, and the rest is history. So many cool stories from his career, but one of my favorite ones was about this week's sequel that I think has the greatest sequel name in history, House 2, The Second Story. Don said I rewatched it to get ready for this interview, and I was walking in my basement, and I go, oh, I have the chairs. The dining room chairs are barely in this movie. He has them sitting in his basement. But before we talk about Dogapillars, Dodo Birds, or how this movie was not like I thought. I remember the first one being weird. This one goes way beyond that. But before we talk about any of that, I got to introduce you to my partner in the sequel watching journey, Jamie Riccardi. Jamie, how are you?
I'm okay, Doug. How are you doing?
I'm pretty good. This movie is, again, I'm not going to sit here and say it's the greatest movie. I wouldn't even say I would go back and rewatch it. Maybe. But this is the movies I love because it's the 80s. It's that horror comedy. And they're just going for it. Whatever. It's almost like this movie was like 4 different movies put into a blender. And this is what came out.
All right. So right off the bat, I mean, I don't normally see the original movie before we watch the sequel. But I did it for this one because I remember watching House so many times as a kid and I needed to watch it. And, which it was rated R, which I don't know why it was rated R. Because it really wasn't scary. Yeah, the original House. This one's PG-13. And I remember, I do remember some parts of it. So, when I saw it as younger, I really didn't remember much about the movie. I don't know how I feel about the movie. One, it's PG-13. Don't know why. I don't think it's a horror comedy because there's really nothing scary in this movie. Like, at least in the first movie, the creatures were a little more creepy. This is like cutesy. Like, this is almost like a Muppets Labyrinth, like kind of movie, Return to Oz kind of movie. Like, it was, I don't know. Like, I don't know what to make of it. It's now the first one's very silly. This one took silly to a different level. And I really think like the writers of this movie put the scenes together, not just making things like happen in coincidence without any explanations.
Yes, I totally agree. And there's a whole storyline in this movie that gets forgotten about.
There's a few things that get forgotten about.
Yeah.
But it's just like each scene, there's just so many things that don't make sense, but make sense for one thing, but it doesn't make sense for another. Or if they did something completely different, the outcome would have been. It was just, I don't know. Like the writing seemed sloppy, and it was just like, let's see if we get some special effects in here and cutesy dootsy things. And yeah, I don't know. I don't know what I think of it. Because I feel like it's a kids movie. I really do. Like it's like they're trying to make it adult humor, but I don't know. I didn't think it was that funny. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, no, I love Charlie. Charlie was really funny, and he's great in Fright Night. Like, he plays the asshole that... Yeah. Okay.
First of all, did you notice, like, their haircuts look like they both can be the younger version of Lloyd and Harry and Lloyd?
Yeah.
Like, Charlie had Jim Carrey's haircut, had the bowl haircut, and the other guy looked like he could have been, like, a younger... Like, they look like they could have been Dumb and Dumber.
Yeah.
All right. Yes. Okay. That's it.
Okay.
Oh, okay. And this is a sequel that has nothing to do with the first movie.
That's what I was going to ask you, because I started the original and then I fell asleep. Not like
Okay.
I was like, oh, this is bad. It was late.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
But is it the same house? Is there a
No,
skull
no.
involved?
No. So
What?
the first,
There's
the first,
nothing.
so the first, there's nothing. So the first one, it's really about the revenge factor from what's his name, Bull from Night Court, who's mad at Greatest American Hero for
he's in
leaving.
it?
He's the main actor, Greatest American Hero. He's the main guy.
Okay.
And so Bull from Night Court is mad that when they were in Vietnam, he left him there, like he was all shut up, and instead of killing him because he was asking to be killed, he went to get help, and then he got captured, and they tortured him for years. So he
Until
comes
he
back
died?
as like a. Well, no, he didn't die. He came back as a.
Oh,
like a
I think you meant he
skeleton.
came back as a demon. Oh, so
Well,
he
he
did
came
that.
back as a skeleton. So he, like, I guess, yeah, but
He
he was
must have
walking
died.
around. Well, he still had the same voice. I mean,
yeah.
so
He's a
listen.
ghost.
Okay, in these houses, people don't die. It seems, So yes, this is a completely different house, different
Oh,
family.
That's crazy. I
There-
thought it was
there's
gonna be the same house. At least Amityville Horror is the same house.
No, this is like a mansion. Like the first one was like a regular house. Like this is they have nothing to do with each other. It's just another house that has some kind of secret door that brings you to different parts of.
Oh my
Like
god,
time? Yeah.
that's crazy. I thought it was
Yeah.
at least so no connection. I can understand maybe not the same house, but at least the crystal skull. Nothing. That's insane.
Nothing.
So what I
Well,
was
okay,
thinking at the beginning of
hold
the
on.
movie, I'm
The
like,
only
oh, okay.
connection is they have two people from Cheers.
Really?
Well, the first one is Norm.
Oh, okay.
So Norm's in the
yeah.
first one, and the second one has Cliff. So that's the only connection.
They both auditioned for Norm. Do you know that?
I did not. Well, you know what? They got it right because I can't see Cliff playing Norm. Like that would.
So
that would
what
not-
happened was after his audition, he was just yapping up the casting director and the producer and director and everything, and he was like doing all these facts, and then they wrote a character for him to be like the know-it-all.
Well, you know what? He was perfect for that, but he would not. I mean, Norm is Norm. Like you can't.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
You know, there are certain characters in the history of TV that you just can't replace. There's no way you could. Norm was, the best character on that show.
Yeah,
You know.
and that's Sudeikis' uncle.
Is it really?
Yeah,
I did not know that. Okay.
look at that.
All right, we're
Okay.
totally off.
So
target
now I'm
here.
going. Now I'm going crazy. No, we're not too off. We were talking about the first one. So, so that's why I thought that opening sequence was not just a full flashback. I thought it was like maybe a character from the beginning because you get like not Eric Ban. How about that whole beginning scene? That whole thing alone, like she has a baby. Okay,
Yes.
and he hears something upstairs, sees the shadow, and they say, "Oh, I think he's back." And his idea is to go up there with a shotgun with his wife behind him and child. Not like,
Yeah.
hey, stay here. I'm gonna go up.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it was a different time back then. So, Yeah, I mean, okay, so here's part of the problem. So like obviously we find out who the baby was, right? I want to know this house that he eventually goes to, how old is he? 20 in his 20s in this movie? Like maybe late 20s, early 30s?
Yeah.
So who was taking care of the house the whole time? Because I mean there was some cobwebs in there, but who was living there? Was anyone living there?
I don't know. Maybe it was the same thing that's happening to Jesse. Maybe it was like 30 years. Hey, do you want to go back into this house? So maybe nobody was in it for a while.
It just stayed a while. 30 years is a while. Is more than a while. I mean, and the fact that electricity is working, he goes right in.
That's
Okay.
always
Okay.
that always
Okay.
happens.
It's always. But he goes there with his girlfriend, and you see how filthy this house is. You're gonna stay there like right away. Like, wouldn't you clean up the house a little bit before you move in?
Oh, like sorority house.
Same thing. Like, I mean, like they have no problem with that. So
None.
I mean, yeah.
No.
Okay.
But just the fact that he goes upstairs, thinking there's this thing that it seems like he knows what it is. Like they've seen it before, and they obviously feel it's dangerous enough to grab a gun. He brings his wife,
I'm
wife,
talking about
and
back
kid.
in yeah.
Yes. So then they're going up to approach him, and it's so funny. Slim, who talks just like Dr. Claw. Do you have
He
the
does.
skull?
Why doesn't his mouth move? Like he
Bad puppeteering.
it is because but why couldn't they do the same thing as Gramps? Like they could have done the same kind of
They really
makeup.
could have, yeah.
They really could have. I mean, because it almost came across cheap. Well, it came across cheap, almost not almost, but it came across cheesy. But the fact that his mouth didn't move was like so stupid. Like it really was. So
No, it was.
so like they don't really give his backstory of how he's still alive.
None at all. Like there's none. Because the only thing we learned about it was in like one exposition about the whole story of, like, we saw when Jesse was downstairs, you saw the two photos of them together, and then when the Gramps tells the story, it doesn't really say anything about why he killed him. That's all it was.
And not only, and why was he after that family?
Well, he's only after the family, I guess, because that skull that was rightfully his, because it gives
they didn't know that
internal life.
They didn't know, but they didn't know that.
Who?
That family had nothing to do with the skull. It's the generation before.
Oh yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
So why is Slim going after the mom and father and the kid?
Oh, because they would think something that important gets passed down along family, like a family heirloom. It's like that skull is something that would be something you're gonna keep.
Yeah, but clearly it skipped 2 generations because it's its great grandfather. It's not even his great grandfather. It's not even his grandfather. So it's 3 generations.
Yeah, and I don't know why Slim came back now. Like he comes back 30 years before and then comes back again.
That's what I mean.
Gramps hasn't been around obviously because he needed his grave up, but we'll talk about him. But what was I gonna say? Oh, I guess a little bit about Gramps now. Do you know that actor? Did you look at his IMDb? Royal Dano?
Oh, he's like an old school. Yeah, he's in like an old school Western guy.
Everything, dude. He was in the Outlaw Jesse Wales. He was with John Wayne in movies, but really cool. So then from that we get.
I think that was a smart move because he reminded me like just of the old like. Remember in The Mask when he gets shot and he talks like he's like an old West, right? That's what he sounded like, in some of the scenes when he was dying, and it reminded me of The Mask. And like, I think that was better to find someone that was used to being like an old school.
Gramps is like in the sequel Hall of Fame. Like he was great.
Listen, he should have been. To me, the movie should have been around. I want to see a Gramps movie. Like I don't want to see these stupid kids. Like I'd rather see the Gramps movie. But yeah,
I would like to see more Kate and Amy Asbeck.
Yes,
young. This is how I didn't look it up, but this has to be like her first movie. She looks so young. Yeah, but yeah. So here's the. I was saying the house is so unique, and I was like, man, I wonder if that is just on set somewhere, like on a backlot they use for a bunch of stuff, and it's called. Where I forgot the name of the place. But the other things that were filmed in it were Casper Meets Wendy, After Midnight, the Bionic Woman, Clifford. It's the orphanage in Clifford.
Oh, with Martin Short?
Yeah. And if anybody's a fan of Legion, it's the Xavier Mansion and flashbacks. And then it was also in the later seasons of Mad Men. So it's been a lot of stuff.
I wonder who owns it. I mean, because it has that, without a doubt, it has that look, right? It's
a museum. I've heard the name of the actual house, but
it's an actual museum.
Unbelievable.
Because it looks like it would be the house in Clue, like that kind of house.
Yeah,
like without a doubt. So
totally.
I mean, it would be better if it's the same house on the first one. Like this house was perfect for what it needed to do. It's just like because it has that creepy vibe, right? It's that old school. There's cobwebs all around, but it just again, I want to know. The house has been there for 35 years. He finally moves in with his girlfriend, which he doesn't seem to care much about at all. Because
which is crazy.
Which is again, well, I mean, like he literally. I mean, we'll get there, but so like they're moving in together, so they must be pretty close. Right, I mean they are literally moving in together, and somehow, and he's it looks like he hasn't been in that house ever, unless he was there as a kid, and somehow he goes right to one book to take out and look at. and from there he figures out what he needs to do. And it wasn't pictures. It was only pictures.
I know.
And again, we're
you
talking
know
about
what they are.
No, and we're talking about 3 generations. So like, why, like, if this is his great grandfather, didn't his father have any interest in looking? Didn't his grandfather have anything interest in looking? Like, you know, like
his dad died. His dad got shot.
I know that, but he didn't have the skull with him. So why wasn't he looking?
No,
for
he
the
didn't.
skull?
No, he didn't. Oh,
that's what I'm saying.
He didn't get a chance to. They moved in for a week. He got shot.
Well, really didn't get a chance to? This guy moved in for one night and he gets it the same night. So he didn't need a week. So, I mean, you know.
Yeah.
And how about Gramps, his son? They don't even talk about him.
All right. Yeah, we don't. They,
Right?
they don't talk about those whole. Yeah.
Because
Both
it goes
of the
from
generations.
Gramps. No, well, Gramps to the father. So they're skipping a grandfather.
Yeah.
They don't even talk about him. Like he's part of the family. They don't mention. Okay.
Yeah.
It's so stupid. Like,
We forget
why
about
wouldn't
it.
like it would have made more sense if it said my great grandfather. I mean my grandfather. Like why like the great? No, it's the great grandfather, right?
Maybe then it wouldn't kill that his line when he
Wait a second.
says how old
Was
he
it
is.
So it wasn't even his great grandfather. It was his great grandfather.
Yeah, because he said, "Oh, I get
Yes.
to meet my great grandson."
Okay, so there's 2 of them they skipped over.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, that's insane. They just
That's
not
so
even
stupid.
mention him.
They
Yeah.
didn't even mention him. Like okay, all right, that's fine. Okay.
And we see like right away, like when we see Kate and Jesse go into the house, they show how weird the house is. Just they're zooming on these random carvings, the random like just the art in the house. It's just so funky. You get this real creepy vibe. And then they never talked about who took care of Jesse. Like, where did he get raised? That would have been like something to mention to make it, grandpa. What if it was his grandpa? That would make sense.
It would have made sense to explain maybe why he knew some of the lore or some of the backstory of,
exactly.
My guess.
So it must
my
have been
guess
his grandpa, but they cut that or something. Because who else would have told him? I guess an uncle or something. But
who did the mom pass the baby off to? Was it a couple or was it like a maid or something? I don't remember.
Oh, I forget. I don't know. I thought she put it down.
No, she handed it. She went outside and handed the baby over to like another.
Oh, should have been
So
great if we found out who that was.
Nah, doesn't matter.
It could have just been something on that night when my parents died. So and so, brought me and raised me. Something.
Correct.
One
Correct.
line.
Yeah, something. Nothing like there's really no backstory to a lot of it. And yeah, like I said, I mean, and the attachment he gets, he pulls out one book. I mean, this is his first night there. Pulls out a book that has pictures of his family in there. Like, what are the odds? There's a whole bookcase in there, all these different books, and he goes right to that one, the first one.
He picks the right one on the first try.
He did.
So Kate is like a record producer's assistant, or she is some sort of record producer because she's on the phone with Bill Maher, who's in this movie, and he plays like the asshole record, which is like a trope in movies. They're always assholes.
He's
right?
playing himself, basically.
Oh,
I mean, that's just, like
he has his
that's his
bozo, which is his line.
That's what I'm saying. Like he's literally playing himself, like a swarmy kind of arrogant guy. That's him. So yeah. But I mean, we don't find that out until later on, right? Like until the other couple come in.
Yeah, then that's when we finally see him. Yeah, but but she's on the phone with him. Oh, we have the car phone doesn't have good reception out here, and like it's so funny. This is the same year, I believe, that Friday the 13th Part 7 came out. I know, obviously, for that role, they're making her look like she was a little crazy because she had like the whole Carrie thing to her, but this is like night and day. She has like smoky eyes, and she just looks like. Yeah. I'm shocked that she didn't get more, just from the way she looks. Like she's a very sultry, and she's great in this movie. And what happens? She disappears. She's gone to never to be seen again.
He didn't care. Like this is the girl you're moving into the house with. Like he basically everything in this whole movie revolves around his dead great grandfather.
Yep.
I'm sorry, his dead great-great-grandfather, who he's known for 5 minutes, who's dead, who's already dead. So he passed on his life to do everything, and he sacrificed his own life. Okay, throughout the movie, he's sacrificing his life multiple times to someone who's dead already.
Yeah. And he basically ended his life, sort of spoiler. We'll get to that.
Okay.
The very end. We'll get to
but
that.
even that makes no sense.
Zero.
Because the other guy's still alive. So why does he die? The other, again, we know what happens to the bad guy, and he's still alive.
Yeah.
The bad guy. So, like, shouldn't it be the same thing? Like if one's alive, they both should be alive the same way? Like,
yeah.
Okay. And, okay. Does this mean he's been alive for 30 years? Well, we're not 75 years? Just sleeping? Like laying, before they dig him up? Yes.
He said he said I've been waiting 100 years for somebody to come by.
Okay. Why? Why could he did he try to get out? Like, so he just laid there for 100 years?
What do you do for 99 bottles of beer on the wall?
Okay, so he's in there. When he gets out, he's drinking. I think he's eating. He's living.
Oh,
so
dude,
he
give
didn't
me
eat or
more
drink?
beer. Oh,
Right.
He knows what TV. He knows what the word channels is.
He drives a car like a stunt driver. Never seen a car before. So you'd think he'd be shocked. You think he'd be shocked with seeing a car
Like
not
a mannequin.
at all TV?
Like a mannequin too.
100%.
Not like,
right.
oh my God,
Okay.
one of these four wheels that are moving. I'm used to horses.
Okay, that's the other thing in this movie. There's a lot going on that are things that you don't see every day, and there's no shock value on anyone.
No.
For the two young guys, the stuff they see in this movie, they don't seem shocked whatsoever.
No. They say it in a shocking way one time, and they're like, okay.
That's
Gramps, there's a jungle in one of the rooms. And he's like, yeah, well, you got to go there. You got to get the skull. You got to help me. It's like, okay.
Yeah, that's it. Well, the fact that they are talking to their dead they were scared when they thought Gramps was going to kill them. But that's it. They weren't scared of the fact that there's a dead guy who we just dug up who's talking to us. They weren't scared about that. They just thought he was going to kill him. But once they realized it was his grandfather, then everything's okay. And they acted like it's normal to be hanging out with your 175-year-old great-great-grandfather.
So you keep saying it, and I agree with you that what you've been saying. Charlie's his brother. They never say it, but they never actually say those words. But they are acting like brothers. Like the way he shows up, and it's not like a buddy would do that in a movie. It seemed like he was a brother, right?
I just thought he was this
and he
crazy
was calling him
drunk
Gramps, and I get it.
Maybe
because that's what his name is, but
yeah, you might be right. I didn't even think about it. I just thought he was just in every movie. You have the same thing. The guy that's wearing his tuxedo with his tie hanging down, like on the side, drinking all night, who somehow has a assault rifle in his back in his car while he's speeding around, drinking and driving. It might be his brother. It just again doesn't faze them. Like the fact that he's putting his life on the line also for this dead guy. And Gramps is basically chilling out, watching TV and eating while these guys. Why doesn't Gramps help them?
Why is he eating? He should have hunger. He's dead.
Yeah, and can you imagine the smell? He's
dude.
Okay.
The dancing at the party. How is that girl even close to him? She's grinding on him.
That's what I was thinking of at the party. I'm like, this guy's been buried for 100 and something years, and this girl is dancing cheek to him. And I mean, great costume, but he's got a reek.
Yeah, like nothing fazed her. That his fingers are so. Wow, this is great makeup. How about that part of the whole movie too? So it's October 30th because when Grandpa asks, we can kind of cut to that. Nothing really before that. The only thing that happened was Amy Aspac and Charlie showed up, and the whole part with they're playing the band.
Okay,
and he's Charlie's setting the band up.
Oh, okay. First of all, her music is awful.
Very awful.
So why is the other one getting excited? Lar.
Lar.
Lar. okay, why is she getting excited? Like I have the next Madonna here or whatever. Like that song was the next Madonna.
Yeah,
it
I
was
know.
awful. Okay,
And it was cold in that room.
I've been trying to get her. I've been
She's
messaging
great.
her left.
Oh
Yeah,
my God.
she doesn't respond ever.
No, I know, but I'm saying just think
So-
about it. Or this has got to be one of her early credits, but like you have the two back-to-back Problem Childs where she's playing like different characters in different characters
Mask.
in the second one. Oh, The Mask. What was the
Yeah.
series she was on?
I
Crap,
don't
what
want
was
to
the
talk
name?
about it because she didn't get back to me, so I don't care.
All right, Amy. You want
it was probably
airtime?
canceled. It was probably canceled.
Wow, shots fired.
But yes, so first of all, the fact that they're having a Halloween party, where those people come from?
Oh, dude, I don't know. There's a few. That's a great question, but so to go back to why I was like when they said October 30th, like when he meets his grandpa and grandpa does the Undertaker through the casket when for some reason he goes, we have to find our grandpa's grave. But when he goes, what day is it? He goes, October 30th, 1986. I'm like, oh my God, this is cool. We're set on Halloween. But then when he goes to, it's a Halloween party, when he goes, oh, I forgot. I totally invited a bunch of people here. And all the stuff's there. So you invited people to come and said, I'm not doing shit or setting up shit. You're setting up everything.
And first of all, it looked like they probably drove a little while to get to this house, right? It wasn't like
I don't think they have any neighbors, which goes to the end of the movie. When people are calling the cops because they hear gunshots, who hears gunshots? Correct.
So where did these people come from that they all of a sudden had, already partying like for a while now too, okay, but before we even get there, we're back to the digging up grandpa. He figured all that out by looking at a picture.
2 pictures, yeah.
Like 2 pictures.
That he said the skulls look different.
That's it. So he goes, oh, then grandpa must, okay. So his theory was that he was saying that the Aztec people would bury them.
He was looking at two at 2 pictures, and he noticed that the skull was different in one of them.
Right. So did he have any knowledge of what the skull was and what? No. Right. He didn't. Okay.
So just
that's
a skull. Yeah.
Just a skull. So he figures, you know what? Aztec people would get buried with their jewelry. Right. That's why he assumed.
Did you notice that too?
What?
Grandpa was wearing Egyptian jewelry, like Aztec jewelry.
No. But that's what he said. Like they're normally buried.
Yeah.
But he's not from their culture. He was there for for a picture.
Yeah.
So why would they would never bury Grandpa would not be buried. He's from the Old West. They wouldn't bury him with his jewelry. So
yeah, I know.
That doesn't make sense. But
unless that was part of the thing, again, not exposition that we got. Maybe it was like with the skull, and you do that, you'll have eternal life because he wants the skull to be near him so he can be young again. And we never got that either.
But okay, if that's the case, why would you want to be buried with it and then be living forever in a box?
For the chance your great grandson.
So he had to wait 3 generations to finally hoping that someone's gonna notice a picture that's different than the other one.
2 pictures.
That they're gonna figure 2 pictures, and they're gonna figure out. You know what? Let's go bury it. Let's dig it up.
Do you know why they did it? Because Jesse's generation had Highlights magazine. So from the highlights as a kid, he saw the 2 pictures and right away he's like, left, right. He's like, oh, different skull. Different skull.
So, okay. So there was a bunch of tombs there.
Yeah.
So everybody just gets buried at the house?
Oh, I know. The house. Yeah, everybody in the history gets buried. Why? I'm surprised he didn't open like
everybody
great grandpa's by accident.
So you're telling me that house then is from like the Old West?
Yeah.
And it's
that's
still
why I think there's no neighbors. You wouldn't have any close neighbor like where you can bury people in your own backyard. Like nobody would want to live next to you. You'd have to have like 10, 20 acres, something crazy. Now this one. But did you notice that he was wearing the Egyptian? I should have screenshot it because what was crazy is they showed that, and then we go to the next scene, and he didn't have it on in the house, and I'm like, oh my God, like no mention of that. It was like he only had it for like 3 or 4 seconds.
Oh my
Oh
gosh.
my god.
So dumb. That is ridiculous. So, okay. So you're telling me Slim has been looking around for this skull for 3 generations and he couldn't figure it out. It was in the graveyard. He doesn't get attracted to the skull that like pulls him, closer to the skull because he clearly knows it's at the house somewhat. Like, how does he know it's
he
at the
must
house?
have that kind of connection to it. Because why?
Right.
It can only be in the house. It can't be anywhere else. Could somebody take it from a house from a garage sale and go like 2 states away, and would Slim still be there? No.
Well, that's what I mean. Like, so he has to know. Like, he has to have some kind of connection to bring him to the house for the skull. But he doesn't seem to look for it. He just goes after the people that are living there.
Yeah.
Like, it's
Instead
almost
of
like the lazy
looking for it. He's like, he wants them to do the work.
Yeah, it's the lazy way. He's the lazy villain. He's like, all right, you do the work, and I'm gonna haunt everybody that lives here until I find the one idiot that goes to bury up, to dig up the grave. Okay.
That's mine. That'd be a good idea. Like, I just watched that Netflix documentary that's pretty interesting, that How to Rob a Bank, about the bank robberies in Seattle, like in the early 90s. That'd be a good thing. You follow the guy who the bank robber is. You let him rob the bank. He comes out. You rob him. Easier transaction. He has to do all the work. He has to get to the vault teller. He has to get in there.
That's genius.
Grab the gold bars. And then you follow him and you say, buddy, sorry, you weren't ready for this. Rob the robber.
And that works.
Yeah.
All right. Let me
Robin
ask you
Hood
this.
robbing himself.
So this house is, again, from the Old West, because that's where Gramps is buried.
Mhm.
And when not Charlie, what's the other guy? The main guy.
Jesse.
Okay. When Jesse's searching around the house, he opens the closet door and an ironing board falls out and hits him in the head and knocks him out. Okay.
Yeah. That's when he has he starts seeing things and like feeling things. So he starts searching for the sounds in the house of what's his name, right? You hear Slim is like,
he just heard like a noise. No, I don't know. I don't think he heard Slim. I just heard, but first of all, I don't. Is that how like they had ironing boards in the Old West like that? Because this house is built. This is where he's felt, And this guy got thrown around quite a lot in this movie. But the ironing board is what knocked him out.
Oh,
because the next scene, he's on the couch with the ice pack on his head.
And Kate's holding him like, man, Lars should leave him. Like, how is that? You're gonna bring me to this house? You're gonna convince me to live in this house you've never been to, didn't prepare for me, and we're sleeping in these beds.
Yeah.
They didn't carry anything in. They didn't have sheets.
Okay.
They had no luggage.
Okay. So we saw tons of cobwebs all over the house. How filthy are those mattresses?
Yeah.
That they're like that this house is filled with rats and other things.
Gross.
The mattress probably, the minute you lay down on it, the dust probably flies up, from jumping on it, whatever. Like, and they had no problem laying on it. Oh,
yeah.
Wait a second. They moved in this house without a moving truck. They just pulled up and drove in.
Yeah, at least Mirror 3 gave us like a moving truck, had like something. No, this one was just, no, we're just going to walk into this house and we're going to expect you to just be like, yeah, we have everything we need. Cleaning supplies, like nothing.
Okay.
Not even an easy, like, pick up the phone. Okay, the mover's going to be here at 3. And then we don't even have to see the movers bring the shit. We just know that the movers are a thing.
Like everything was already in place. There's furniture throughout the whole house. I mean, during the party, they had everything. Clearly, they had a stereo already in there that was working because they had music playing.
Could you imagine, like, having, like, saying, I want to have a party at my house. I'm going to be there at 10. I want it to start at 9. Everybody else bring all the shit and set it all up and everything. And that worked. Charlie has that much pull with his friends that he can just tell them to do everything.
And you're going to tell me, like, all he was doing was, like, walking around the house. He didn't hear the door open once. There had to be about 25 people in that party.
So crazy.
With, like, costumes, he didn't notice one person walking in, pulling in. They didn't hear any noise. They didn't hear the music. Like, they noticed the party was there the minute they opened the 2 doors. Then they didn't realize there's a party going on, which looked like it was going on for a while now. It wasn't even like it just started. Like, they've been dancing and drinking for a while.
Yeah.
Okay.
So then they bring Grappin back to the house. They throw a mattress on the ground for him. And he says, is that how you treat family? And what does Grandpa want to do right now? And I guess this was the thing. So he's 170 years old. So he was born in 1816. Okay. So So when he was, let's even give him like 20 years old. So in 1836, he's going high stepping. That was the thing, because he said he wanted to go out and get high step.
He also says scallywag.
He does say
I shot scallywag, but that's a pirate thing.
Well, he's almost old.
Yeah, but he's Old West. They didn't. I don't think they.
No, I know.
I've seen a lot of Old West, like Western movies. I never heard scallywag once.
What do they usually use? For like just like talking shit about, I don't know. Not
Gringo.
hobo. I don't know. Gringo?
Yeah, I mean, he does call himself an old fart.
Dude, he says I'm 170-year-old fart.
Well, listen, it's good to know they had fart humor back in the 1816. You know, so
he was so sad. Like when he thought he was young and he looked at his fingers, then he looked in the mirror. And the music got really sad. Like it was like really like, whoa.
He didn't realize he was that old.
Oh yeah.
Okay. How slow does time go by? If he's alive in that box, you know, he didn't look down at his arm once. He didn't like
no light.
You know, like I wake up in the morning, my knees creak every single time I get out of bed. This guy's 170 years old. He doesn't feel like his age at all. I mean, clearly he doesn't. He's dancing like a maniac. You know, he's driving like one of the best drivers I've ever seen, because when he pulls out of the car, he's like doing he didn't realize he was old. Like he was shocked. He was so shocked that he was that old.
And he also knows in 1816, or as long as he lived, they knew that I guess there were stories written about zombies. He says, I'm a goddamn zombie.
Okay. Not only that, did they have mirrors in 1816?
Yeah.
You think so?
Oh, of course they did. Yeah, they had mirrors for years. Yeah,
How do you know?
They had mirrors way back in the day. It's light, it's fire and sand.
Okay. I don't know if they had mirrors, but
yes.
Okay. All right.
What do you think? What would be your guess? Like, when did mirrors start?
1817.
They found them 8,000-year-old mirrors made of volcanic glass. So 6,000 BC.
Could you imagine being the first person to see yourself in a mirror? But because like before that though, you know, I guess you think everybody looks the same, I guess. I mean, or you look like everybody else. Like, can you imagine just being the first person to see what you really look like?
Or you only think like people, it's like if you're blind, like people describe to you what you look like. Or maybe like back in the caveman times, they would like, oh, let me draw for you. And if you have a friend that can't draw, you're like, ugh.
Or, well, I was to say, or like, you know, like, listen, I mean, obviously the cavemen were pretty ugly. So like, you know, and you're going around like, oh, look how ugly this guy is. And then you look at yourself in the mirror like, oh, I'm ugly too. Like, you know, you don't realize, you know, like you're as ugly as them.
That would be scary. Like that first time you actually see yourself and everything move.
Yeah.
But you know what? Those people probably saw that before. Looking in water, you can see a reflection in a lake.
Yeah, but I don't know if they realize it was them. Like, you know, who knows what they thought. But okay.
They started jumping in, and fighting each other. Yeah.
Should that be funny?
Hey, wise guy.
But okay, so Grandpa sees himself in the mirror, but then he's sitting there watching TV.
Well, you're not watching TV yet. No, not yet. So the next part is when Jesse's like, all right, I got to get to bed, which is crazy. Like, you just had this insane thing that should never happen, but it's happened. Like your Gramps, your great-great-grandfather, you unburied, he's alive, he's sleeping in your basement. You can just go to sleep, but not Charlie and Gramps. They are ready to go drinking and driving, because that's why I thought Charlie was the grandson, right? Because he was like, I got to show you something, Gramps. And it's almost like he wanted him to be proud of him. I know he's showing off because that's his character.
No, I think Charlie's just that one party animal friend, and he obviously he's going to call him Gramps because that's what Gramps goes by. And he found someone else that's willing to party all night with him. And listen, he came into the picture partying, and he parties throughout the whole movie. You know, like, so
Yeah.
I don't think they're brothers. I just think he's that friend. But yeah, I mean, again, yeah, he takes him drinking and driving. Like, again, why does he need to drink? I'm surprised he's able to drink. You know, and now he doesn't drink.
No, it doesn't do anything. Your liver's dead. You know what? Your liver's rotted.
So, okay, so, right. So you're not tasting anything.
I know. Like nothing works.
Okay. But don't you think he'd be freaked out seeing a car? Like, you know, he's used to horses. That's it. Like, this is a car.
Yeah, not like tapping the gas like you're 15 with your learner's permit.
No.
He's like,
but that's what I mean. Like, every technology that he's seen is so advanced compared to 1816, yet he does not seem phased at all.
What amazes him in this movie? Kleenex.
I don't remember.
The Kleenex box. When he's like, shh, he's just taking that over and over and over again. But yeah, the fact that, and then he hits the mailbox too. When he goes, you're not driving, I'm driving, you're too drunk. And he drives and he hits the mailbox, right? It's like a mailbox. It has to be the mailbox.
I could see a movie. There wasn't enough Grandpa. Like, if Gramps was in the movie throughout the whole movie, like, he should have tagged along.
Him and Charlie spin-off on a road trip.
I could see that. But even, like, in this movie, Gramps should have been part of every scene. He should have been tagging along.
He should have went with them. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, but I mean, because again, the movie's dumb, the movie's stupid, but like, yes, Gramps is funny. But however, based on the first movie, this whole story just doesn't fit for me. Like, it just, because the first movie, again, it's a little, it's supposed to be scarier. It's not, but the creatures are definitely creepier. And it has more of a poltergeist feel to it, the first movie, where this movie, it literally, I feel like it was like a Return to Oz kind of labyrinth kind of movie. It was like,
yeah.
It was almost like a Jim Henson movie, I feel.
No, it was definitely silly, especially some of the characters that we get introduced to in a little bit. So now Bill Maher shows up. He's Kate's boss, which I'm shocked that Charlie would be a dick to some rando, because his girlfriend, which is this his girlfriend? Because he's like worse than what Jesse does at the party in a little bit, but he's like a dick to this rando guy. Calls him, who's Bozo? He said something. Bill Maher says, who's this guy? Bozo the Clown? And the guy said, Bozo the Death Machine?
He says that because he said something like Madonna, that she's the next Madonna.
She could be the next Madonna of the 80s.
And he goes, isn't Madonna the next Madonna? Or something like that? Or that's what he says. So,
yeah.
So that's
is it Madonna the Madonna of the 80s?
Yeah.
And it's like,
okay. Something like that.
So he says, what are you, Bozo the Clown? And he says, Bozo the Death Machine. And then he tells him, wait, this is Kate's boss, Jim so-and-so. And he's like, oh, yeah, Jim big time record producer, right?
But that was kind of weird also, because he was coming for, like, the night.
He was coming just to meet her because they're looking for the hot new sound.
I know that, but he was at the party, right? He was at the party. So clearly he was coming for the night. Like, so he like, it was weird. And listen, he was looking to get laid the whole time. I mean, clearly, he was walking like, so like, it was just okay. All right. So,
and good for him, because obviously Jesse's a prick. He really is a prick to her. So I like get it.
No, but he also set him up. He definitely.
You think he invited the French girl there?
You mean the one that's still in the closet?
Oh my God. Gramps is a real prankster. How about a Gramps prank show?
No, but the fact that after the girl was in the closet and they shut the door, the girl, they don't see her the rest of the movie. She's still in the closet.
Oh, no. Well, no. We got some exposition. He said, Charlie, can you call her a cab? And he called her a cab.
Oh, he did? He did say that?
Yeah.
Oh. All right.
So she's not a corpse right now.
I thought she was in the closet the entire time. They forgot about her.
She's just in house 3, just in the closet.
See, that would be great.
It's not going to be the same house, probably.
Okay, that's true. So, and from the synopsis I read, it has nothing to do with a house. It's like an escape. It's the guy from he played a villain in all the movies. He was in Beverly Hills Cop, I think. One of the henchmen in Beverly Hills Cop. He was in you know the guy I'm talking about, the main guy. Okay. He plays an escape. Yeah. Anyway, okay, so that makes a little sense then. No, he didn't invite her. Wait, who invited her then?
Because Charlie invited, I guess, a ton of people, and somebody told knockoff Yvette, which that girl is like, wow. Like, honestly, like,
no, that was
Kate
definitely
is
knock off the
100
bet.
times. Like, why she? Oh, it was a Halloween party. Was everybody else dressed up a lot?
Well, Kane Hodder was there. He was a gorilla.
He was. Oh my god, dude! And how about? Did you see the guy's name of the guy that we're going to talk about soon? Ronald the Barbarian.
Do you know
Ronald?
Well, I looked him up though. So
He's Buzzsaw, right? Buzzkill.
Yeah. Buzzsaw in Running Man.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah.
That was cool.
Everybody was dressed up. So it was which also was kind of awkward because everybody's dressed up, but the 5 main characters were just mingling in there.
And
Belmar
wasn't. As soon as she saw Jesse across the room, I know she was like her back face. But wouldn't you be like looking for him? Like, this is weird.
Yeah.
We have this like nobody knows about it. Did Amy Yasbeck know about it? What did she say? Like, oh, Charlie invited all these people on her way.
No one seemed phased. And Charlie's throwing a Halloween party, but he's not even wearing a costume.
No,
like, what a douche.
He forgot about it. Remember, he forgot about it.
That is true.
He was too busy telling the girl on the couch. Yeah, you know, I know some people in Hollywood. It's like, whoa, dude, your hot girlfriend who might become the next Madonna if these people have their way, and you're like flirting with a girl with cat makeup on.
He reminded me of Chet.
Oh,
Weird Science, right?
Yeah.
He looked just like Chet.
No, he's good. This guy, like in Fright Night, dude, he's awesome. He plays such a prick. This one, he's funny. Like him and Gramps have this great relationship because you know what I love. So when they go downstairs after Kate, we find out Kate, Amy Yasbeck, and Bill Maher are going out to lunch. So then they go downstairs. They're kind of pissed off about the whole situation, which is kind of weird. And they're obviously confused that obviously Gramps is a thing. So they start drinking with him in the middle of the day. Like they're hammered and it's still the same day. And I love Grandpa's stories because he said, did you remember Charlie's first line to him?
Have you ever stole a stagecoach or something like that? Or
yeah, have you ever robbed a stagecoach?
Yeah.
And did you notice the way Gramps did it? Like so great by Royal Dano. He's like, of course I did. And he was just making up stories to impress Jesse and Charlie. It was so cool.
You know, I just thought of a better way this movie should have went is because obviously these rooms they'd take them back in time or different locations. They should have brought it back to the Old West with Gramps, like and meeting the young.
Well, everybody was meeting West. Meeting young Gramps.
Meeting the young Gramps. And then, or something, or like, I kind of like the Back to the Future thing, but like seeing Gramps seeing his younger self or something. I think that would have been a little better to see Charlie, hanging out with the young Gramps,
if Gramps saved Jesse in the past, like in that end scene, that could have been really cool. But it's funny, he's telling all these funny stories and using this funny voice moments like after saying, oh yeah, I murdered Slim. I murdered Slim. It's like, whoa. And then he's like, oh, yeah, let me tell you these hokey stories in this old West voice.
So did he explain why he killed Slim?
Oh, I think it was over the skull. I think Slim wanted to take it, and they wanted no, I know, but I think they wanted to keep it, but I think because Slim wanted to sell it. And I think it was something to be over that, I think.
So Slim's mad all this time for the skull so he could sell it again?
Well, I think it's the power of the skull. Maybe they found out afterwards, but we didn't get the payoff of what they said. Like when the skull's close, like Gramps had energy. Like when they had the skull and Gramps is near it in the house, he had like better energy, and that's why when it was gone, he was like very lethargic because he was going to go back to, I guess, the way he was in the casket. But we needed to see him like,
but
be able
in the
to
casket, he had the skull.
Turn young.
Yeah, but he had the skull when he was in the casket.
Yeah, I guess, but maybe because it was in a casket, it didn't work. It needed sunlight.
All right.
I don't know.
All right. Oh, gosh. All right.
But there could have been something to pay off, like, oh, the skull really works. Like, we could have saw Gramps, like, turn young at the end of the movie. No, we didn't get any of that.
Yeah, but does he say it's supposed to turn you young?
Yeah.
Oh, he says that.
Because that's what he said. He was supposed to stay young.
So but clearly the skull doesn't work then. Because
no, it doesn't.
So there
something went wrong. Maybe because there was two skulls, one was an imposter. I don't know.
Okay, wait a second. So So why is the skull so important to Gramps if it doesn't work the way he thought it would work? And is it just to keep him alive now at this point?
Yeah, that's it.
But they're putting the skull on like the mantle, right? It wasn't even like with Gramps.
I know. Shouldn't he have held it? He needs to be close to it. It was just like,
Yeah,
hey, let's leave it out. And we kind of know, not like he knows Slim's alive, but he's got to catch wind of the stuff that's happening somehow, or have a feeling.
I don't know. Like, is the skull worth Charlie and his buddy's life, Jesse's life?
Oh,
like,
yeah.
is it worth like? I mean, the stuff they
Gramps
do,
don't
they
care,
should.
dude. Gramps
No, he
is
doesn't
very
care.
selfish. Yeah,
But again, I don't understand the whole movie is based on just getting the skull and holding on to it, and which they keep losing. So they're like really poor at it. It just doesn't make sense why they want the skull. Like, I just don't understand. Like, they don't really explain that.
no, they don't at all.
Okay.
And then the skull's like got to be made of something really strong because it gets thrown everywhere. It gets chewed on by a dodo bird, which they call a pterodactyl, which is not. And at one point, the one thing we see looks like a pterodactyl, and then it turns into a dragon. The same thing.
Wait.
But,
That was a dragon?
No.
Wait,
the only
you're
time
talking
we
about the
see
monster? Wait, you're talking about the monster thing? I don't know what that was. That was like a slug. It looked like a slug.
Oh no. We'll get to it. It's the flying thing.
I
in
thought you were
that
talking
part.
about that. Oh no, that was a pterodactyl. Originally, that took it was a pterodactyl.
I know. The first thing we saw was a pterodactyl, but I don't know if they used like a different creature.
They definitely did.
But then it looked like a
was,
dragon on top of the tree. It was weird.
I don't know. It just the whole thing is so bad. All right.
Yeah.
Never mind. Okay.
So back to the party, like we mentioned a little bit earlier, but like Gramps is dancing with the girl. We already said, like, how do they not realize this guy's? And I love their faces when they see him, and they're like, kind of, hey, Charlie's taking him on, like, yeah.
Yeah.
And he's like pointing to the girl, and it's like, oh my god. But the thing with Jesse is, his ex is there, flirting with him hardcore, kisses him, and again, that whole time, like, and Bill Maher sees it, but he never said, like, I'm with someone. He just asked, like, how long are you in town? And she says, for a few weeks. And it's like, where are they? They're in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, but in Jesse's defense, though, he kept looking over to his girlfriend, and she definitely forced the kiss on him. Like, he wasn't
she
expecting
did, but
it.
he could have Heisman pushed off.
No. I mean, he did eventually. I mean, it was, obviously a shock kiss. But I mean, again, Mar was positioning himself so he could see the whole thing, and then he walked away with the girls, both girls. What was both girls or two girls? We walked away with.
He took Amy too, which again that makes sense because Charlie was not making out, like flirting with a girl right there. Like, oh my god!
I don't know how. I don't know how strong their relationship is. I mean, they just look like party people, right? Yeah. I mean, the other two, they're buying a house. They're living in a house together. I mean, so it's a whole different dynamic. But yeah, it was weird. But like I said, Jesse doesn't seem. The only thing he seems to care about is Gramps that he's met for 30 minutes.
I know.
Is this all the same night or not even the next day? Was this like the same night that yeah, because
this is this is the next day. So they got Grandpa on the 30th, and then Halloween's the next day. So this movie's been this is like the third day, because remember he got hit in the head by the
by
the ironing board.
Yeah, but he got hit in the head. But
Gramps has been there for 24 hours now.
That's what
they
I'm saying.
got him on the 30th. Yeah,
right. Okay, so he's known Grandpa less than a day, and everyone else around him doesn't matter to him, except for his great. They don't mean
shit. They don't
mean shit. They really don't.
Except Grandpa, but yeah,
and he's dead. Like, so, like, how much longer does he have?
That's true. Like, why have your allegiance to the person that isn't going to be able to help you with anything?
No,
ever.
And he has such a bond with this guy who's, again, 3 generations behind him. So it's not like, it's almost like, you meet up with a cousin that you haven't seen, you never met before, and you meet them. Okay, great. We're family, but I know nothing about you. Like,
I know.
My great-great-grandfather, I don't even know what his name is, in my family. And if I met him, yeah, it'd be cool to meet him, but like, am I gonna bond with him because compared to the way he is and leaving his girlfriend that he's probably known for a while? Like,
Yeah.
that just makes no sense.
Yeah, no, it's totally
Okay.
bizarre. And like you mentioned already, Kane Hodder's in this movie. He's like a guy in a gorilla costume that has head off, and Arnold the Barbarian comes in, throws him off the thing onto the ground. And did you love Gramps' line to him? You better pack
I don't-
your ass in a suitcase, which I know suitcases are probably around in the early 1800s, but then he gets knocked out. Like, and
But
then
he-
Kate knocks out Jesse.
It's-
So like,
Okay, first
their
of
whole
all,
family's getting their asses kicked.
I don't think they would call it a suitcase in 1816. I don't know if it's,
I know.
I mean, you know, but yeah,
I don't know what it would be, but
it's, yeah. But yeah, that, I mean, the whole scene reminded me of, again, all these this movie reminds me of so many different movies, but it reminded me of, was it Weird Science at the end, you know, having a party and the barbarians come in, like,
yeah,
friend
Vernon
of
Wells.
the podcast.
Vernon Wells
Yep.
show up, yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah. But where'd the barbarian come from?
He came through a doorway. You saw like light. He comes through the doorway, and then again, the skull at this point, when they were touching it, nothing happened. Nothing.
Right.
But he grabs it, and the house starts shaking.
Okay. But he's a barbarian living in a barbarian world. Okay.
Yeah.
And does he all of a sudden see a doorway in like the middle of the jungle where he
Was
lives?
sent by. I'm guessing he was sent by Slim. Slim must know him.
Why? I don't think so. I think all these scenarios that have the skull have nothing to do with Slim.
Really? What was that?
I just
name?
think- I
right?
think
what is
he-
it? Ronald the Barbarian and Slim.
No, you also have the virgin that they were sacrificing.
Oh, that was weird. Yeah, that.
Okay, so like there was obviously difference yeah, so there's different scenarios, but I think that again they were just going for I just think they opened up like different realities, I guess, or whatever. But I'm just saying, like, so the barbarian to run there, or even the ones that came out of the wall, that they just in their world,
Oh, I know.
all of a sudden they just see a door open and to go run, like they wouldn't
Yeah,
be
I know.
scared of that. I mean, like this is a
No,
barbarian.
you run away from it.
Of course, you know,
Yeah.
but he run and he okay. Not only that, so the barbarian ran into the house. The doorway was upstairs,
Yeah.
but they didn't show that. They just show him running through. Like it was like almost like he just ran through the party, right? Like he didn't.
It
Like-
seemed like he was, yeah, no, it seemed like he was in the party and then he was upstairs
Yeah.
throwing Kane Hodder, yeah.
Right. So he knew to go upstairs, and he's seen stairs before. This guy, he's a barbarian.
Yeah.
He lives in a jungle. Like, yeah, okay.
Look like rocks. Walk up rocks. And then he just like tosses one guy. Hey, what are you doing here? And you think you're going to like toss the guy to murder him?
Yeah, okay.
Oh, man.
Right.
But then we get a
Right.
line that I never thought I would hear in this movie. Well, there's a few lines for the rest of the movie that I never thought I'd hear. But when he says, Gramps, one of the rooms is a jungle now. And he says, well, it doesn't matter. You have to go. I'm only alive because the skull's near. You have to find that barbarian. And this when Jesse's ready to go in, Charlie comes behind him and he pulls out the machine gun that he had in the trunk of his car. And I do love, because I was expecting it. It was like every movie, right? Just like Men in Black, like you get the
Yeah.
cricket. This one, he gives him this tiny gun.
The best part, he goes, what is it? Shoot a what is it? A lighter? He says it to him.
Yes. Yes.
And then what's his name? Not Jesse. I keep
Jesse.
what's his name? No, the other guy.
Charlie.
Charlie. And Charlie goes, no, it's not a lighter. And sure enough, it turns out to be a lighter later on.
Yeah, how can he do that? Like, what if he got killed? Some guy is walking up to him. If it was a real gun, he'd be able to fire a couple shots at him, get away. No, it's just a lighter. Like, could you imagine? Like, I would never talk to Charlie again. Even in this
No, and-
scenario, I wouldn't talk to
wait.
him again.
Not only that, he's telling Jesse to go in first. Well, he's holding
Oh, I know. The ball's on him.
machine gun.
But I guess that's the law. Is that the letter of the law? Like to tell people, hey, bigger gun goes in first. And Charlie's like, okay. Because he gave in pretty
Okay.
quick after that.
He did, but then once they go in there, wait a second. They started shooting right away, like not
He used all
knowing
the guns.
anything.
And do you remember at that point, he thought he was firing guns. Jesse thought he was firing
Well,
bullets.
I was saying that, like, so he didn't notice that the flame was coming out at that point because it shows up later on, right?
Yeah.
So was he actually shooting at that point, and then like
was it a gun/lighter? Because that'd be very dangerous.
Absolutely.
Are you, buddy? Are you sure you have the lighter switch on? Pretty sure, man. I got it, dude.
And he's lighting it this way. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
But I mean, so that's another thing. Like in this movie where he's shooting a gun at one point, but it's a lighter. The joke comes back as a lighter later on, which makes no sense.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
0 sense.
All right. Okay.
And then when you see dinosaurs, right? There's freaking dinosaurs in this movie.
The stop, what is it? The stop motion, like there's throughout the movie. So yeah, I mean, it made it silly, but it was funny. I really don't know what this movie was trying to be. Like I don't put. It's not a horror. It's definitely not a horror. Right? So
no.
Because I don't think anyone dies but the Barbarian and Slim and Gramps, who are already dead anyway.
See people get shot in the chest in the beginning of the movie. Eric Bana gets shot in the chest in the first 5 minutes.
That's true.
Pretty rough for an audience. Like, what's this movie gonna be at? Oh, I know. I saw a dog-a-pillar in the trailer, a dodo bird. And it's like, ugh, stomach shot.
Was the dog pillar in the trailer?
I would hope not.
I hope not, because I have to be honest. It was not what I was expecting when you saw the thing.
Love that.
I mean, I literally thought it would be something creepy. Like, I mean, just, like the way they set it up. So, okay. All right.
My daughter said it was cute. I showed her a photo of it, like, during dinner. I said, Emerson, what do you think this, what would you say this is? She said, oh, it's cute. And then I go, try to see if mom can guess what it's mixed with. And my wife was pretty close. She said like a dog and a snake or something. I'm like, yeah, it's just as crazy as
it looks like a
glowworm
dog
and a caterpillar.
It's like a glowworm.
It is like a glowworm, yeah.
I wonder, did glowworms come out before then? When did this movie come out?
No, that was like around this time. Like that was the big craze of the mid '80s.
Okay,
copied it.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay,
dude, Charlie, when Ronald's chasing him, and he's about to like get murdered by Ronald, and then he falls down this really cool, creepy, weird, goofy stop motion creature comes out, eats Ronald. And I love Charlie because once Jesse comes up, he's like, where is he? He's like, come get me, you coward, you wimp. And it's like, wait, he's dead.
What was that thing?
I don't know what it was, but it looked like it had like 1 or 2 teeth. It looked very silly.
It looked like a slug. Like
it did.
In the dinosaur. You're in dinosaur time. Like, why not have like a T-Rex or something, or some kind of dinosaur? Why like make a weird creature? That's what it looked like.
Yeah, this is like at the point that Jesse and Charlie become like superheroes, because now the dodo bird or whatever, the pterodactyl, comes, takes the skull after Jesse picks it up and says, let's go. I don't know why people do that too. Another trope. Whenever you find something, you have to like go, yeah, and hold it up over your head. So there's no protection of people like accidentally like hitting you in the back or anything. You're really handing it to them. You're throwing the bad guy an alley-oop always. And he does this, and it takes it to the top of a tree. And when Charlie goes, go up and get it, and we cut to him up there, like the faraway shot, he is like, seems like 100 feet into the sky.
100%. Like, and again, not phased at all. Okay, at this point, when you see how high that thing is, don't you say, you know what, let's just go back and tell Grandpa we just can't get it?
Yeah, I know.
I mean, like,
dead,
we're going to climb, we're going to climb this thing.
Dead now.
Okay,
yeah.
You realize that we're in the jungle with dinosaurs. A pterodactyl just grabbed this thing. The odds of me making it out alive, let alone climbing that thing without falling, and then the thing not pecking my eyes out and killing me up there, let's just tell Gramps we just can't find it. No, he climbs that thing like it's Jack and the Beanstalk. He climbs it all the way up and fights with a dodo bird. Ridiculous. And like,
insane. And
okay, so he's not even on a ledge. He's hanging on with his hands, but somehow he's able to fight with a dodo bird while he's hanging.
He's very strong, yes. He's a lot stronger than I would have thought.
He's literally hanging up there because at one point, doesn't the pterodactyl like poke at his hands to knock him off?
Oh, yeah.
So
he falls through. to the ground, and he falls through the basement, and Gramps is sitting there, and he says 2 lines back to back. Why couldn't you use the stairs? And where's the beer? And that's when we meet the Dogapillar.
Okay. So, well, no, before that, we meet the Dogapillar before that because you keep seeing something creep.
Oh yeah,
you see something creep on the ground, which I thought was going to pull him on the ground. I thought that whatever it was going to yank him, but it was a Dogapillar. But was there a hole in the ceiling when he fell?
I mean, after he fell?
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
There
was a hole.
There was a hole in the ceiling?
Yeah.
In the house?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was so loud that everybody heard it. Bill Maher and they all heard it because then
I didn't know there was a hole in the ceiling. Okay.
That's what triggers them in the next scene when the dodo bird's running around with the skull in its mouth.
Okay, but Charlie's plan was to catch him from the height of that tree?
I don't know what he was doing.
No, that's what happened,
super.
He landed on him. So,
yeah.
All right. So that was his plan to catch him.
Insane.
Okay.
Could you imagine, like, if like again, we talk about like porn heaven and like pearly gates from Meatball 3 sometimes, but could you imagine that, like, getting to heaven, and if I was the one falling, if it was like a buddy or somebody, I'd be like, "What are you, a moron? You thought you were gonna like catch me for 100 feet? You sort of deserve to die. I know you're being nice, but like, why would you think you could have? I gotcha.
I don't think you could catch anyone jumping from a 2-story house. Let alone like I mean, if someone stood on your roof and jumped and you try to catch him, you're gonna soften their blow. You're gonna get a concussion, if not worse. You're gonna break something. So this is like Empire State Building height. I mean, this thing was like so high. No, it wasn't. There was no chance. No chance.
Insane.
Okay.
Really.
Okay.
So when they're trying to run around. Then they hear they see Bill Maher and they see Amy. And so Charlie goes over to distract while he's trying to like catch this dodo bird and get this skull from him. And dude, the scene when he gets the dodo bird, right when Bill Maher is getting ready to open the door, I think the dodo bird is trapped in, what's the dodo bird trapped in?
It was in
another cabinet,
it was
right?
like above, it was a cabinet. But why are they ashamed if Bill Maher or anyone else sees this dodo bird?
I know, that's what I would say. I'd be like, wow, is this crazy?
Right, like this is what's been going on, and this is maybe his girlfriend would understand a little bit more of why he's been acting the way he is. Like, it's not like they're hiding something. Like, at that point, there's no relationship with the dodo bird. Like, they don't care about the dodo bird. They just want the skull.
So why wouldn't you just say,
right?
Oh my God, guys, this is crazy.
Right,
this
is what's
bird
happening.
Came out of nowhere.
Correct.
That's it.
Correct. Right.
But then you have Gramps, and Gramps shows up, and dude, Gramps is what a trickster. And he said, "I'm sorry, I was just trying to be funny."
But how did he do that?
How did he know that she was? I guess when he went into the closet, she was in there already. And then
why was she in there?
It. Oh, because she was pissed drunk.
Oh, so when you're pissed drunk, she stands in a closet?
I'm about to vomit.
Okay,
maybe she goes to the bathroom.
Okay, wait a second. First of all, it's not a closet. It was a cabinet. So at least a closet is a little bit more room.
Okay. Do people have cabinets that can fit people in their kitchen?
Well, when you have a mansion like that, they do. But
that's true, yeah.
There's not. I mean, it was probably enough room to stand in there and shut the door. So even if she was that drunk, did you think she was in an elevator?
Yeah,
but that's the only explanation. Because there's no reason for her to be in there. And how did Gramps do the switcheroo?
Well, he knew that there was a trap door because he probably put it in.
There was a trap door there?
Yeah, because he hits the button and he giggles, ooh, and she spins around.
I'd say I missed that too. Oh, you saw her spin around?
Yeah. He hits the button and she comes in. Yeah.
How did I miss that? I just saw her in the closet. I didn't see him spin around. Wait.
Yeah.
So why would there be a trap door in a cabinet?
Oh, it probably goes to somewhere in the house. It probably goes to like a hidden
I get it. But why in a cabinet? Like at least in movies,
a good place to get away.
Picture frame.
Honey, you gotta get something out of the kitchen.
Yeah, okay.
He's gone.
Usually,
shit.
It's the bookcase is the main one.
Yeah.
The big picture frame, like in Clue or whatever. Mm-hmm. But in a cabinet,
that's why it's a good one. You're not gonna think about it. If I go to
Okay.
mansions, that's all I do the whole time. I'm not paying attention to conversation. I'm just looking at to where the trapdoor is and where's the giant safe.
Okay. Okay.
I always bring back people like, oh, are you a doctor? Oh, no, I'm not a doctor. And I just have the stethoscope so I can do the safe cracking.
You go to every book in the bookcase and you're moving each book, just trying to see which one is the lever.
Off topic, but the best thing in any movie with that is Adam Sandler.
Oh. Which one?
Adam Sandler, when they're trying to do that, to find the right book, but every time they open the book, it's like Gone with the Wind, and the wind blows them, and everything does something.
I was going to say Young Frankenstein is the best one.
Oh, yeah, that's great. But just the fact that every book is, because it's Adam Sandler, like everything's so weird.
Yeah, I got
everything's alive, like water comes out of one of them.
Right. Gotcha.
But yeah, so I don't understand the hiding of it, but yeah, when they come in and they go, what's in the closet? Bill Maher's like, come on, show me what's in the closet. What's going on? Finally opens the closet door, and he's thinking it's Gramps, because he explains the whole story, like, this is my grandpa, he's 170 years old, and it's Rochelle. And then Kate sees it. She punches him again, knocks him out, and then punches Charlie in the gut, and then they all leave.
And they leave.
And guess what? We never see or hear about him
That's
again. Yeah.
And he doesn't seem that broken up about it. Like, you know, first of all he had to do is open up the other cabinet with the bird in it. And that would have, like, explained a little bit more, you know. So, but, yeah, like, she leaves with him, and he's still going about his business about Gramps. It's all about Gramps.
Yeah.
Like, he does not seem fazed at all. This is the woman that he was moving in with, you know, a day earlier. Okay.
He was very successful, smoking hot.
Yep.
Like, she's about to, like, land maybe a big artist, or I'm sure they already have big artists, but no. But you know, I love the character of Charlie. He's so silly, right? So silly, whole movie. And then randomly, there's something that pisses him off. Like Bill Maher, he gives lip to Bill Maher. And then Rochelle, because he goes, oh, can you call Rochelle a cab? He's like, okay, I'll call her a cab. And Rochelle goes, okay, Chucky. And he goes, don't call me Chucky. And he gets like really serious for a second. And you're like, wow, this guy, he's good. And he's really good.
Well, he's a child. I mean, let's be honest. Charlie's a child. So, okay.
No. And then the easiest trade ever, like, they have to feed the dodo bird with steak. And then he gives up the skull.
Okay, but wait a second. But this is when they're all sitting around a table and, right? Or no? No, are they sitting around a table yet?
Well, they're in the kitchen.
No, wasn't there a scene where they're sitting around a dinner table and they have the napkin around the dodo bird? The caterpillars at the table. They put napkins around their necks.
Yeah.
Okay.
Very delicate. And this is when Grandpa apologizes, but how about the baby bottle? So that was like probably Jesse's baby bottle when he was a kid, because he fills up a baby bottle to feed the animal, and he named it, but we only heard the name one time. He calls him Bippy.
I mean, again, they don't seem fazed that he's holding a dog caterpillar and a dodo bird are part of their family now.
No phase at all.
Like it's a normal thing that they're just like, you know, they've become the Addams family. They basically became the Addams family.
Oh yeah, but just what a wild ass scene, dude.
Think about that road trip. If Gramps lived, and now you have Charlie, Jesse, Gramps, the caterpillar, and the dodo bird.
Dude, that's a TV show, dude. That is like the perfect 80s, like an empty nest with those guys. Or like Three's Company, all three of them.
You almost have it at the end of the movie, minus Gramps.
Almost. Oh, I know. He should have been. He should have been there. Oh. But how about when Gramps gets jumped? When he starts hearing, he hears a sound, and at first he's like, "Oh, what is it?" And he's thinking it's maybe Slim, and then it's Bippy. He says, "Oh, Bippy," and then I know where you have this two guys jump out. Two guys, and what does he say? There must have been 30 or 40 of them. He's so great.
I mean, he's 170. Listen, but you know what though? He took a beating well.
He did a lot. Yeah,
he did. He took a beating well. So I mean, you know, is this where we meet Cliff?
Oh yes, we do.
Who calls him?
Kate called him when they first moved in because the electricity wasn't working.
Okay,
He said a young lady left me a voicemail.
Your memory is like ridiculous in this movie because
I watched it twice.
Okay, well that helps. Okay, so because I thought he just randomly showed up, I'm like, who? First of all, I didn't even know he was an electrician at first because I just see him like he shows up, he doesn't say what he is because even Jesse was surprised to see him. He's like it looked like Jesse didn't even know who he was.
He was shocked, because he said, "Oh yeah, a young girl called."
Yeah, and then he was pulling the wire. Now, okay, so here's my question.
Mm-hmm.
She called an electrician to come there. Clearly, he's not your normal electrician.
Not at all.
What if she called a different electrician? Like a regular electrician?
Probably would have been dead. He'd probably be dead.
I mean, like, what are the odds of her calling this one particular electrician?
He's maybe the only one. They're in the middle of nowhere. And we didn't talk about it before, but when they... Just to add in before we get to the end of the movie, which we're close, but just the fact that when they go for the drunken drive, we see them drive, we see them go up the hill, make the turn, and there's nothing around. They park on the side of the road, no houses, no street, nothing.
Yeah.
But we're supposed to hear they say, "Oh, the neighbors called because they hear gunshots." No one is around to hear anything.
I know. It's ridiculous. So,
but Cliff's great, dude. Bill Ratzenberger, who's a great guy. Like he's like a great voice. He's the piggy bank, right? And in all the Toy Story movies.
Yep.
And I always remember him because he invented. He's an inventor. He invented like eco-friendly. Like one of the first people to do it for like bedding. He invented that in the early 90s. And he's married to like a younger girl.
I also didn't know he was a good fighter.
Yeah, wasn't he a black belt or something?
Oh, was he? Oh, I don't know. I was just saying that, because he kicks some ass in this movie. I mean, like it's ridiculous.
Oh, yeah. No, I was reading stuff about him because I was like, oh, let me look at it, like his career. But even I have a clip that I'm going to pull up. But when he is just very quirky, very reminds me like. And it's probably right around the same time too as Arachnophobia with John Goodman. He's like really serious about his job. Like when he takes out he's supposed to like check the electrical, not light bulbs, but he breaks the light bulb and he goes, "Must be foreign made."
But and then he basically rips up the wall and puts a hole in, like so. I think he's more adventurer than an electrician. Like I think he's an adventurer who throws in he's not an electrician at all because he doesn't look like he's good at his job. He's a better.
We got a little problem in the other room.
Look at his dress too.
Yeah. Look, Bill, I'm sorry, but this really isn't a good time. Why don't you pack it up and come back tomorrow?
I think we better go in the other room and have a look.
Look at his glasses.
This is great. Just the way he perfectly says this line.
It's okay. Look at that perfect hole, though.
Yeah.
There it is. Looks like you got some kind of alternate universe in there or something.
Thanks.
I guess you see that a lot.
I love that it's like teeth. It looks like teeth.
It does, and they don't seem phased. They're like, all right.
Let's just walk through this wall right now. And now they're inside their own house. They're in an Aztec temple.
It's not really an alternate universe. It's literally inside their own house.
It's in the living. It's off the living room.
I've been through this.
And I love it when he's going into his toolbox. He lifts up and he goes, "Oh, here's my sword." That's like from and he has music. He has theme music from his sword.
He's Indiana Jones. He's literally Indiana Jones.
It's shocking that he wasn't in the first one because we're getting a guy. Why does he have this history? He needs a movie and Gramps needs a movie.
How about the fact that he has his goggles above his glasses?
Yeah, so he's not protecting anything.
He's not, but he doesn't even wear the goggles at all. So yeah. But I mean, this whole scene is just ridiculous too. It's like
it's Temple of Doomish because they're going
without a doubt. Yeah.
And the girl who doesn't speak, the virgin, is an actress that is, I don't know what else she was in. Well, I know she was in the movie Society because Brian Usna did it, and hopefully a guest that we're gonna get soon was in it as well. But she's like the love interest in it, smoking hot. Like, and she doesn't say a line.
And Jesse quickly gets attached to her. Like his girlfriend just left. And it's right away.
He's in love already.
Yeah.
But they're both pros. Both of them are pros at sword fighting. It's I just don't understand
sword fighting. The fact that Charlie does the old Luke Skywalker and grabs the rope and swings across these these like animals that like these guys are gonna rip your heart out, and no fear anymore. He just jumps right in there, and I don't think he had a plan.
I think he even said, "Watch this."
Yeah, what
he goes over, grabs the rope, and like doing something you've never done before. He should be dead.
What was his plan? Just a swing across?
Yeah, I know.
I mean, he ends up knocking a few people out, I think, with a swing. But I just think his thing was a swing. Why was there a rope just hanging there?
Yeah. And then they're all kicking ass. Charlie was kicking ass.
Yep.
Jesse was kicking ass.
Yep.
And you know what? I hope you noticed this, because another like plot hole. So Bill's kicking ass. He has a hammer and a sword.
A hammer and a sword.
He does the old like beating everybody up and being that tough guy.
And he's telling everybody to leave. Don't forget, he's telling everybody to leave. He's sacrificing himself.
Good. He says, "Don't worry about me. I got to get home. It's my kid's Little League night."
Yeah.
Okay. But what happens next?
He's already at the other side.
Yes. He beats them out of the hole.
How? Like, it makes no sense. I almost feel like this whole movie was made up once Jesse got hit in the head with the ironing board.
Oh, so he died, and this is like him
No,
having a fever
he was
dream.
knocked out, and he was dreaming this whole thing, because none of it makes sense. It's all silly stuff, and literally, it's like he's an action star in every scene. Like, it's all,
yeah.
And I wonder if that's like, everything was in his mind.
That would make more sense, but there should have, again, a perfect opportunity for having him, like Bill, have them get out, and they're like, "Oh, Bill," and he like flies through another wall, and then like casually leaves. Here's my card. Like those same
Not only, it literally was a second they stepped out of that hole. Like, it wasn't even like, it was like the timing. It looked like he was already packing his stuff up. So he was there before. He was already there before they got out. Like, and the walk wasn't that far. Like, they walked through the wall. They literally went right to the edge to watch what was going on with the Virgin. So, okay, that made no sense.
It was like it was an amphitheater. It was like a theater to watch. It was like that was set up for people to watch the sacrifices, like sit in the crowd.
100%. Yeah, it was like a very silly thing to throw in that movie. That fact that he was already done. And did they seem phased about it? They're like, no. They still didn't see phased that this guy beat them out there when there were like 3 guys left for him to kill, and again, didn't seem phased.
Yeah, and then now they have a fancy dinner. Like, they're having so much fun. Jesse's like, "Oh, I'm gonna cook. Oh, this will be so much fun." You have Cleopatra.
This is where they're wearing the napkins.
This is where they're doing that.
Okay.
I love "Oh, this is so cool. Look at everybody." Blah blah blah. And then they're getting ready to pull out the bunch. I've never been to a dinner ever that's done that. Have you ever been to a dinner that's done the same thing in Clue? The open up the. No, that's weird.
Well, first of all, I don't own one of those dishes that has a big pot.
I don't either, but I'm saying I've never been to anything like even a fancy restaurant. Like,
no, but you need to have a long table like that, and like and it looks like they all eat like in a study. Like, it's always like in like it's never a dining room. It's like they have all these like picture on the wall. Like, it's like it's what, this house could have been used in Beetlejuice also. Like, it's the same kind of thing, and Beetlejuice does the same thing with the dishes. They come out with all the covers on the dish. Like, it's the same kind of dish that they serve. Okay.
Oh my god! But the fact that they're getting ready for dinner,
Wait. So they're having dinner. This all happens moments after they just fought.
It seems like that, right? It seems like, hey, we're hungry after fighting Egyptians.
Okay. Hold on. So this is after they fight a barbarian and dinosaurs. Then they fight these other things, these
Aztec. I think it was the Aztecs.
Yeah, whatever. And then they're ready for dinner. First of all, who cooked?
Jesse did. What did he cook? What did he think was going to be under there?
Wait, what did he cook? They didn't bring any groceries there. So where did they get the food from? When did he have time to cook?
Unless it'd be funny if the dodo bird wasn't there, and that's what they were eating.
Okay, then wait, the dodo bird and the worm. That's what they
Or
cooked.
the doggy pillar. Yeah.
Doggy pillar. Okay.
But I do love when he goes, okay, dinner served. And it's Slim. Somehow he goes to the table. Like, is it cut out? Is he sawing while he's going through it? He's going
And he
very
rises through
slow.
Wait, so was he like miniature underneath there, and then he got bigger as
I don't know.
But didn't Beetlejuice do a similar thing at a dinner? Like
He did the
come
same
out of
thing in the game, in the slot machine. He came out of the ground, remember? And then he turns into
you're
the
right. Okay,
carnival
okay.
game, and he bops Robert Goulet on the head.
So why did Slim feel the need to come out then and just not any other time before then?
Well, yeah, why not? Again, just like a Dr. Evil thing, like what his son says, the great Seth Green. He goes, why don't you go back in time to a time that Austin Powers is on the toilet and shoot him while he's on the toilet unarmed? It's like, wow, great. Same thing with this. Why doesn't Slim just pop in when they're sleeping and take the skull?
And why do you have to make a grand entrance like that? Like, first of all, that is like, first of all, it's a lame entrance. You're coming out of a dish. Like, really? It's like, like, it would have been cool if he came through the roof, he came down that way or whatever. You're going to come through the dinner table? Like, that's kind of a lame entrance. But he had to make a grand entrance, and that's how he came in.
And he shoots Gramps. And that's another thing you'll notice as a theme. Up until the end scene, which is coming up soon, Slim is like a perfect shot.
Why does he have a gun and Gramps doesn't?
Gramps does have a gun.
He had a gun the whole time?
Gramps is getting ready to shoot him, but he just Slim shot faster. And then that's when he took the Virgin. Slim takes the Virgin, which again, they have nothing. Again, you don't want somebody to die. You have no emotional connection to that person unless he fell in love that quick. Maybe he fell in love with Kate that quick. Maybe he met her like a week ago.
This is like this is basically Bill and Ted's. They're grabbing people from things from all different.
It is, yeah.
And they're just I mean, it's ridiculous. And they've grown attached to them. They're pulling people away from their worlds. Which again, this would affect a lot of like her. It would affect the time travel stuff. Because you don't know if she was the daughter of something else that creates.
She could know something important. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
So then Charlie. So yeah, he shoots Gramps, takes Cleopatra. Charlie throws a knife at it. Slim catches it, and then this when Gramps gives him his old gun, which is like definitely like an old West type gun, like the white handle.
Well, because he has to put the holster on.
He has to put the holster on, and he has to remind him he killed your ma and pa. So how does he know that? He was in the box that whole time.
He was in the box the whole time because that was still 2 generations before that. So yes, he shouldn't have known that. But why does Jesse have to put the holster on? Like if you know this guy is crazy and he's running around, don't you? And you're not a shooter. I mean, he doesn't have a gun. Wouldn't you keep that gun out the entire time in case he shows up anywhere?
Yes.
Like he has to put the holster on.
Until he's dead, I would always be prepared. How about like the next scene, like Jesse jumps out of a window for just out of nowhere, and then that's when he ends up in the Old West.
Okay, there was no reason to do that.
Yeah,
there was no reason to jump out the window. So, and how does the house know to bring him to the Old West?
I don't know. Well, it somehow it does know. It knows where maybe it's like the same portal that the other guys use. But when did Charlie get taken? All we saw with Charlie was Charlie threw the knife, Slim caught it, and then we're cutting to Charlie and the Virgin in nooses.
Which does he save them? I don't think
does he.
I don't think he did.
He's like trying.
Yeah, he didn't try. He didn't like go after them like he was going after Slim. Again, all for Grandpa.
He kept missing. He was terrible.
Oh, the worst shot. Yeah.
And the other guy's bad too, because that's why I was referencing that just before. All the other times he shoots people in the stomach, kills them one shot. But for some reason with Jesse, he shoots him in the arm. He shoots him in the leg. So it's like all these kind of missed shots. And until the cops show up. Like when the cops show up in the house and they go back into the house because Jesse like runs out of ammo. So he jumps through another window. He's back in the house. And the cops show up. The cops somehow hit the same mailbox that was put back together. And that whole scene is wild too, because it makes the ending make more sense, because how would Jesse explain what happened, right? Like, what would be the explanation of it?
Well, I mean, he's going to see Gramps' corpse right there that looks like it's 170. But okay, here's my problem. But here's my problem. Why is Gramps dying so easily with a gunshot wound when Slim does not?
Oh, like Slim gets his head shot off.
His head shot in pieces, like literally in pieces, and he's still alive. But Gramps gets shot once and he's dead.
Yeah, makes zero sense.
Like, they don't explain, like, they're from the same time. It's not like they're, they're from the same 1816, so they should have the same rules. Then there's, like, they don't explain. And Gramps at least had the skull. So what's keeping Slim alive?
Well, Slim has a skull in his stomach. This is where another bad dumb guy. Like we talked about earlier, like, what? Yeah.
All this time, though. He didn't have the skull.
Oh, yeah, I don't know. There's
Gramps
some
had
kind
it for
of
150 years.
So it must be something because, I don't know, because he was murdered by that guy. Yeah, I don't know.
They don't explain it, because Gramps clearly needs a skull to stay alive, but Slim never has a skull, and he's alive for 3 generations.
Yeah. It's like he's tortured it's like he's in like some kind of purgatory or something, and he has to find, it makes zero sense.
Okay, so he puts the skull into his stomach.
Yeah, and he reveals it. Like, it's just as bad as the good guy holding the thing in the air.
100%.
This is just as bad. It's in your stomach, you're fine. And he even says, like, no, it's mine. I'm like, what? Why would you do that?
So stupid.
And then what happens?
Okay.
Jesse becomes a pro. He's like, I forget what movie it is. Somebody I feel like it's a girl in the movie. She pretends to be bad at everything. And then once what movie? Oh, in Halloween, the new Halloween 2018.
I didn't
Remember
see it.
What's her name?
What's
her name?
Right.
Yeah.
Jamie Lee Curtis.
No, but not Jamie Lee Curtis. She plays her daughter. She's an amazing actress. She was on, she was in everything. She was just in Jurassic World. We covered. She was married to the guy from The Office. The manager. What the hell was it? But anyway, she does that whole thing too in that movie. She pretends like, I don't know how to shoot a gun. I don't know what I'm going to do. And she's like, bullseye. And she shoots Michael like 3 times in the head or something.
Yeah, but he's not a bad shot because he shot his head off.
No, I'm saying he turned into a pro now. When he was in the Old West, he wasn't even close.
Oh, you're right.
This, he's perfectly accurate.
Yeah.
3 shots in a row, blows his head all the way off.
Yep. Yeah.
It just made zero sense.
Yep. But he also left his friends behind. Right?
Yeah.
Because I wrote it down.
Because they're still there. Yeah. Oh, her name is, I got to give her credit because she's my favorite. Judy Greer.
Oh,
Love
yeah.
her.
Okay.
Yeah.
But he literally left his friends hanging.
Yeah. Literally.
He did. Because he left and he starts fighting Slim. So
yeah.
Okay.
But just that whole thing, man. The fact, and how about the crotchety guy? I wonder if he was like a big time character actor. The negotiator, the police chief. What do these guys want here? And it's like, oh yeah, it's the old. I forget what their last name was, and he's like, it's Jesse, the great grand, or I don't know what he says, but he's like, well, it's gonna be the last time they live here. Jesse, we got you surrounded. Come on out. And it's like, because it's kind of a crazy scenario. Because what if would they see that? Like Charlie can see it.
But why would they know who that? Because no one's lived there for 40 years.
No, the guy heard gossip because it's like a small town. He said, "Oh, I heard the
small town is one house."
Yeah, it's one house and one cop, one house, one deli, one school.
Right.
But yeah, so that's what it was. But yeah, so then he becomes a pro, shoots his head off, and then Grandpa, when he goes to see Grandpa, it was like in his deathbed after like he was killed to get this skull.
It was an Oscar-winning performance by Gramps. Like it was the typical long, like goodbye as you're breathing your last breath. Like he really went all out.
His line was, "Did you blow his head off? That's a good boy. For sure he kick your ass." And then he says, "I'm so happy that I got to meet my great grandson." It's like,
so he didn't care about. So he doesn't care about his great grandson or or his grandson.
Gives two shit about them. Yeah.
Yeah. Really.
But he
Because
his father go for the skull.
Father would be
the most important.
His father would be his great grandson. Like he didn't even mention his father.
He doesn't.
His father would be his.
The only line he says is, "Slim killed your mom and pa." That was it.
But he never met his great grandson, and his great grandson would be his father.
Yeah, never met him.
Okay. Didn't care.
He doesn't care.
Okay.
But then from there he leaves again. He's like, "Oh, let me get everything together," and this is when Slim is alive with no head, and he shoots. And he misses, and this is when the cops from the outside start firing everything into the house.
So they don't know if there's any hostages or anything in there. Like they just started hauling. Yeah. Okay. I mean, I understand why Slim missed because he doesn't have a head, so he can't see what he's really shooting at.
He killed that cop.
He did.
So again, in this scenario, if they went in there, because obviously I would think Slim's body disintegrates. Like we don't see that officially, but it's not like we see it go to a dimension. So if they went into the house, it probably wouldn't be there. So they would see this guy, this bogus story, and a cop got killed. He would go to prison.
I mean, you do have Gramps there. That's the only thing. But the house doesn't the house burn up?
Well, the house is on fire because when the cops shoot in, they shoot
so,
like an old oil lamp.
When they listen, Gramps looks like he's been burnt, thrown in the fire anyway. So if when they recover him, they're gonna look, all they're gonna see is Gramps' body. So they're not gonna know. But so the question is, did he have a choice of where he wanted to go to at the end?
Grandpa? Oh,
no.
No, I don't
Jesse.
think they had choices. I think there was the jungle or the Old West.
So
it's the only two other dimensions we saw.
How did Charlie get there?
Charlie was already there. Charlie was
He was hanging.
He got out. Nobody was there to kick the pull the plug. I don't know. Him and the Virgin figured it out.
So they're planning on living in the Old West in 1816 with a caterpillar dog and a dodo bird.
Yeah, you know what I was thinking, because we never saw anybody else in that town. Is it just them three? Is it like a Twilight Zone? Like they're in a dimension, an alternate dimension, like Bill, the electrician, said, and nobody else is there. Like Charlie's all alone.
Maybe
he's gonna be a third wheel for the rest of his life.
So that they're gonna create it. They're gonna start all over. They're gonna create life.
Amy Aspac is like the Madonna of the '80s right now, and he's living in the Old West. For a guy that loved his Aston Martin car or whatever it was. And knowing
that is the
worst
Hollywood, time to be. Yeah, that is the worst.
Think he would give up? Right? You think he would give up everything?
Well, I think his options were either there or the jungle.
Yeah.
The dinosaurs.
Oh, well, you choose the Old West. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think you have a choice.
That slug creature. But yeah, so Jesse carries Grandpa, and it's like an all white room, and everything gets so bright. And you're like, what's it going to be? And we cut to seeing the old. I don't know why the Old West used to do this. They didn't. I guess because they didn't have shovels, maybe, because it was always they would stack rocks.
Yeah.
Really high. So the body was in there and the skull was left there. And then it was, Charlie and the Virgin and the dodo and the dogapiller, and Jesse gets on and they leave.
Yeah.
That is the end of the movie. That's a weird the movie
ending.
This weird. I don't know what would be a good ending or a closure ending, but it was an ending. So, I
feel like Charlie got crapped on because,
he did. He had a great life,
and he ends up with nothing. And he's hurt. Wasn't he shot or no? Was he shot? Oh, he was just
Charlie?
He's thrown into So Charlie's thrown in the back of the station wagon, right? He's in the wagon and he's thrown in the back, and that's it. So his life now is living with. Yeah. Okay.
He's the third wheel.
So dumb. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how you make it. I would say the only way you make it any different is, again, if Jesse wakes up with the ice pack on his head
and he's fine. Yeah,
he dreamt the whole thing. Again,
until he thinks he dreamt the whole thing,
but
then he hears a voice in the bed. No, and there's a voice in the bed next to him. Gramps.
Or the dodo bird running by or something like that. Yeah, something like that. Then it would have been good. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So, Jamie, when it comes to the greatest sequel name ever, House 2, the second story, would you recommend somebody watch it? Because I think I don't know what you're gonna say, but I think from what you said in the beginning and throughout, I think it might be a little bit different than you would even think.
But so I'm gonna say, after I saw the movie and before we started talking, I was gonna say definitely no. But I'm gonna say it's so bizarre, and for Gramps alone, I think you have to watch it. Just understand it's like watching a kids movie with some adult humor. Yeah. I mean, again, it has nothing to do with the first one. I would say if you have like a rainy Saturday and there's nothing on, you throw it on, it's fine. I think you have to watch it. It's just so stupid and silly that, you know, I don't know. I think you have to watch it just because it just, you'll everything we discussed, you'll see right away, you know, of the fact that there's no reason for any of this. They don't explain anything. It's just sloppy writing and like just a bunch of stuff. So yeah, I'm gonna say yes.
Yeah, no, I think it's one of those things that you'll never see anything like it. It's very like David Lynchian in the fact that there's so many things that show up and there's no, like the fact that like Kate disappears like before probably like minute 45 and then we never hear about them again. No reference to them, nothing at all.
Nothing. It just, again, there's so many questions. I mean, again, seeing Cliff in here was fun, good. I mean, like, there's definitely things to watch. However, you know, we started off 2024 at a real, like, tumble. I feel like we went skiing, like, you know, down a mountain and we tripped and we're just tumbling down this hill of snow. And every movie is just like another one, another bad one.
I think with the next sequel we're going to be covering, we're hitting a little ramp.
Before you go there, you said the same thing last time, and I wouldn't put this up there of breaking through yet. So we're still on that. We're still tumbling.
It's higher than Ginger Dead Man 3, which again was better than. I think that's what we've seen a lot this year so far. There's movies that were like, like when we look at the trailer or like read about it, and it was definitely better than we thought. And this is one of I should have grabbed it before we started recording, but I have a bunch of posters on the wall in the studio, and Rambo 3 is one, and it's like in German, and it was so cool that we get the opportunity because we talked with Jeff Farley a while back, who's had an amazing career, films like the Blob remake where he does that amazing scene in the car, and he's buddies with Jeff Goodwin, next week's guest, and Jeff shared a photo. Jeff Farley commented, I saw it. I'm like, oh, I should message him, and then we connected. But yeah, he shared this really cool photo of him putting scars on Stallone in Rambo 3. So he was cool, man. He told an amazing Stallone story because he worked with Schwarzenegger and Stallone within the same year. So yeah, that's an epic story. And he sent me photo evidence. So I'll make sure to put that on sequelsonly.com for his dedicated interview page. But yeah, we talked about, you know, he was raised by younger parents who love going to the drive-in. So he was like raised at the drive-in, how Planet of the Apes changed his life because he saw that. He was like, wow, I want to do that for the rest of my life. Working with David Lynch, Blue Velvet, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, how he like changed the look of that movie, which that story is real cool, and great stories about working with Jim Henson, Rambo 3, and lots more. So yeah, so don't forget to review, rate, share our podcast, follow us on all social media at Sequels Only, and don't forget to check out our website, sequelsonly.com. Good night.
Good night.